guys, and welcome to your weekly horoscope. This is for Monday the 23rd of July going through until Sunday the 29th of July 2018. Now, last week was relatively quiet and it was, according to the astrology, relatively peaceful, and you shouldn't have had major crises or things being completely topsy-turvy. This week is a little bit more complicated. We have an eclipse happening this week, and some of the days are jarring in terms of the energy when you compare them to other days. So what I'm going to do in this weekly horoscope is I'm going to give you a day-by-day rundown of what's happening this week. Remember that my horoscopes are based on UK time, so that's British summertime at the moment, so just take that into account. And I'm going to give you a rundown of what the planets are doing in the heavens and how that's going to influence you here every day this week on planet Earth. So starting with Monday the 23rd of July, we have the moon in Sagittarius. That immediately gives you a sense of optimism and adventure. Sagittarius likes to gallop and to have fun. It squares Venus in Virgo, and a square is a relationship where there's some friction inherent in that relationship. It makes sense because Venus in Virgo is very stern. It's saying, before you give your heart to something, really qualify it, really make sure everything is right. Are you just kidding yourself? So for instance, if you're looking at a new place and you think everything's great, but there's one thing that really sticks out, like maybe you have to duck into the kitchen or something like that, and you think, oh, I really want this, so I'm going to look past the error. Don't do that kind of thing. Venus in Virgo is going to make sure that you don't gallop in the wrong direction. So even though Venus is in Virgo and is quite serious, you can see it as built-in quality control mechanism. So Venus in Virgo is your friend today. The moon in Sagittarius also squares Neptune in Pisces. So friction with the water planet of dreams and intuition. Sagittarius moon wants you to do things. It wants you to go out and gallop. It doesn't want you to sit around and daydream. So on Monday, you approach the week feeling absolutely optimistic, really energized, feeling upbeat, feeling good. You may experience a sense of wanderlust, a desire to travel or to move because of this moon. And you'll have dreams that you will want to realize. So relationships, new home, new way of working. Venus in Virgo is going to make sure that you settle for nothing less than what your true heart's desire is and what you deserve. Venus is really going to look out for you and say, don't settle for something that is beneath you just because in the moment you think it's so wonderful and loving, whereas in the long term, it's not up to par. It's not up to your standard. So Venus is really going to make sure that you don't settle for something that's beneath you. On Tuesday, the 24th of July, we have the moon moving into Capricorn at 9:50 in the evening. So the moon in Capricorn is totally different. The moon in Capricorn is focused on personal responsibility. It says, I am, therefore I work. Or I work, therefore I am. I want to get to the top of the mountain and I want to get there through elbow grease and my own independent way of making things happen and being practical, being serious, being hardworking, all of those things. So it's also forward-looking the same way as Sagittarius is, but it's more focused on grappling its way up to the mountain, whereas Sagittarius has a flat road ahead of it with nothing in sight and just the horizon at the end of it. So you're still looking forward, but now you're working harder, or you feel like it's up to you to work harder. You automatically feel this responsibility to just apply yourself as much as you can. The Capricorn moon conjunct, so it sits on top of Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn is security. So they work really well together. That's like a match made in heaven. So the moon gets married to Saturn a little bit today. It opposes Neptune in Pisces. So dreams are out the window. We don't care about dreams right now. The moon certainly doesn't care about dreams. It cares about let's get things done. And it trines Uranus in Taurus, and that's really positive. A trine is a harmonious relationship, and a trine with Uranus, Uranus is the planet of the miraculous, the unexpected, and it's like taking a plug and putting it into a socket. Things start to work. When Uranus is around, things start to pop, they start to move. It's in Taurus, so that's really going to give you energy on a practical level. So on Tuesday, the time to dream has ended abruptly, and you are in complete practical, let's get things done mode. It's an incredible day to solidify the structures in your life, whether those are the romantic structures, property, finances, friendships, any of those things. You're really able to just solidify this and say, this is my life as it is and the way I want it to be, and I want to create more security in my property, so I'll pay 20 grand off the mortgage. Or I want to solidify this friendship, so I'm going to tell my friend how much I care about them and how important they are in my life and what an influence they make. On Wednesday, the 25th of July, we have Mercury in Leo, and that goes retrograde until the 18th of August. Mercury is the communication planet, so Virgos and Geminis, this is your ruling planet. When it goes retrograde, you feel this often, especially and stronger than some of the other signs. But the thing that's great about this retrograde is that Mercury is in Leo. And Mercury in Leo it likes to communicate in a bombastic way. It likes to communicate loudly. It likes to tell jokes. It likes to have fun. It's communication from the perspective of me. What do I find hilarious? What is going to put me in the spotlight? What is going to make me shine? And the key word in all of those sentences is me, me, me. Mercury in Leo is about how do I make myself seen and heard. When it goes retrograde, you have to find different ways of communicating, and this is a lovely retrograde in Leo because it's going to make you look at yourself in the sense of where am I at confidence-wise, where am I at in terms of leadership, being a pioneer, needing the approval of other people to speak. You'll be able to really understand how you put yourself out there into the world. And I just want to give you an example. So if you have a totally off-the-wall idea and you decide to share that idea, plates should not be used for eating. They should be used as decoration only. Let's say that's your cause that you care about. And that's a little bit off beam, but you care about it so much that you're not interested in what other people think, and you just talk about it. Other people may share that idea, but will only start to speak up when they realize that 5 other people have already spoken up before them. So some people will only be confident when they feel they have a little bit of a safety net and other people there. And some people will only speak up and join this revolution, this new movement, when there are already hundreds of people. So you will be able to see how confident you are, where you are on that spectrum, whether you need approval of others to get things done, whether you can do things by yourself. So it's a time of learning and looking within. It's really an optimal opportunity to look at yourself and say, do I need to work on my self-confidence or my self-esteem or not? Or do I need to rein in my arrogance a little bit? Which is far less likely because sensitive people, in my experience, are not arrogant. In my experience, the most wonderful, beautiful, sensitive souls on the planet are usually the most insecure. And people who often have no idea of other people's feelings or the damage they leave behind are often very confident and very arrogant and very over the top. Obviously, there will be exceptions, but wherever you are on that spectrum, it's a good moment to actually realize where you are, and then you have the decision and the choice whether you want to do something about that. The sun is in Leo. That trines Chiron in Aries, and it squares Uranus in Taurus. So there's a harmonious relationship with the wounded healer, and there's friction with chaos and rebellion and energy and eccentricity. So the way this all turns out for you on Wednesday is that the process of action will now be tinged somewhat with an undercurrent of fear or fear via remembering past experiences that were similar and where you tried to make things work and they didn't work. So don't let fear stop you today. It's ego sabotage. It's not a genuine fear that's designed to protect you. It's a fear that's saying don't go there, because if you break through, you will really achieve something wonderful and you'll really get a step closer to achieving your purpose. If you're someone who struggles with life purpose, or you don't know what direction to go in, you don't know why you're here, a personal astrology reading can be really useful because it's very clear what your life purpose is, what your vocational aptitudes are. So Wednesday is a day of really breaking through and making a giant leap forward. Thursday, the 26th of July, we have the Capricorn moon trining Venus in Virgo now. So this is a harmonious relationship. The moon still wants you to work and it wants you to get things done. Venus in Virgo still wants you to make sure that the standard is up to par. And the Capricorn moon conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is the planet of transformation, rebirth. It's about changing things in a practical way. It's death and rebirth, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So Pluto is an ending and a new beginning. It's like 9 in numerology. So on Thursday, this day indicates a lot of movement. Many people are going to consider moving for the first time, or even just the thought of moving is going to pop into their head. Other people will be preparing to move, and some people are actually going to move on this day. If you are moving on Thursday the 26th, you've picked the ideal day to move. For everyone else, it's about having a renewed sense of hope and a renewed sense of hope for a better future, that really is possible, that there are things in life that you haven't discovered yet. There are better ways of living. There are ways of improving your circumstances, no matter what they are. And sometimes we don't see a way out. Sometimes we think this is as good as it's going to get, and there's nothing better. But when you try different things, you realize, I hadn't considered that. So don't be so sure about, this is where I'm at in life and things are never going to get better. Life may surprise you. Be open. Be willing to be surprised and look to the future today. You'll get really optimistic, hopeful ideas popping in. On Friday, the 27th of July, now this is the big day of the week because we have the moon going into Aquarius in the morning at 10:42. The moon in Aquarius is very humanitarian, but then we have the full moon in Aquarius, and it's not just a full moon, it's also a total lunar eclipse on the south node, and then it happens at 8:21 in the evening. A friend of mine sent me an article about this as well. It's going to be a blood moon. I think it's going to be tinged. I think it's going to be either yellowish or orangey or reddish. And as usual, when we have a blood moon, there are prophecies of doom around. Now, the prophecies of doom, end times, and do you remember the Mayan calendar in 2012 when we all thought the world was going to end? That's part of the narrative. We're always going to have end of the world prophecies because as human beings, we like stories, and we're used to stories having a beginning, then the plot thickens and things develop, then you get to the peak, then complications happen, then they have to work them out, and then there's an ending. And that's what we, as human beings, like watch a film, it's got a beginning and an ending. And that's what we're used to. So when we look at our lives here on planet Earth and we're trying to make sense of them, we're looking for the ending of the narrative. When's the story going to end? So I don't particularly take prophecies of doom or end of the world seriously because it's just a psychological need that we all have for closure, completion. So I don't think this full moon eclipse is going to be the end of the world. I just want to say that. And what also happens on this day is that the sun opposes Mars, and Mars is going to be brighter than at any other time of the year, and you're going to be able to see it all night. So if it's a lovely, sunny, hot night, then maybe you go out for a walk or something, look at Mars sitting there in the sky. Mars is the male principle of desire. So the fact that he's so bright in the sky and we can see it is going to give you strength, it's going to give you optimism, it's going to give you courage. This time of year that we're in terms of the astrology, which is based on the seasons in the Northern Hemisphere, it's a time of power and energy and fire anyway. This is the height of summer. This is when people are meant to have the most movement going on. And I mean, you see that people are traveling, people are going on holidays, people are moving. There's so much happening. It's just much faster than the 20th of December, for instance. The energy is full on fire and they want to move by themselves. So don't go against that. Don't stand in your own way. If you're finding yourself being pulled and pushed in a direction, go with the flow. Don't resist. So I'm going to make a separate video on the eclipse for more information because it's a very complicated one. And we had an eclipse earlier in the month, which was about, the rulers becoming more humanitarian. But now we have an eclipse, the effects last for 6 months. So it's important to take them into account. And this is on the south node, so it's about releasing things which are about being a humanitarian, and it's more about discovering yourself. So the two eclipses work well together when you take the conflicting parts of them and you combine them, and then you can see the whole picture. It's only through self-confidence that I can help others. That's really the gist of what they boil down to. But on Friday itself, it's about letting go of guilt and self-sacrifice and taking time to look at your own desires. It's not the best time to take action as your perspective is overly subjective, and it's this mishmash of Leo and Aquarius who are opposites, me or others. So you may feel pushed and pulled a little bit. I'll go into more detail in the eclipse video, but I wouldn't make life-changing decisions on Friday the 27th of July. Earlier in the week is much better for you. And especially Monday, Tuesday, before Mercury also goes retrograde, because then you start finding yourself communicating in ways you haven't before, so you don't know how it's going to turn out. If you've said the same thing 10 times and you know that the response is always positive, then that's fine. But if you're communicating in a way or trying something for the first time ever, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So there's more risk involved as the week goes on. And risk when it comes to taking right action. So let's say you want to move. It's far more likely that you're going to be able to move Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and that's going to be really easy, then it will be on Wednesday and Friday. So Wednesday and Friday, more difficult to actually do things and to do them with a sense of joy and optimism. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, much easier to be practical and get things done. Saturday, the 28th of July, we have the Aquarius moon squaring Jupiter in Scorpio. Now, the Aquarius moon makes you feel humanitarian. It says, how can I be of service to others? You're interested in new technologies, how to improve life for those around you. A square is again friction. It creates friction between two planets, and Jupiter is the lucky planet, and it's in the emotional and beautiful sign of Scorpio. So there's friction again between my feelings and other people. The way to combine it is I want to help other people, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's how good luck is going to come into my life. The Aquarius moon also quincunxes Venus in Virgo. Good old Venus in Virgo, though, is saying, make sure everything is up to scratch. The one thing you can rely on this week with Venus in Virgo is that you're not going to accept anything into your life that is below standard. You're not going to be able to kid yourself this week. So if you're viewing flats or if you're going on the dates with different people, you're not going to say, don't really like it, but I'll take it because why not? At least it's something. The Virgo Venus won't let you do that because it says, love yourself and give yourself something amazing. Don't accept something that isn't beyond your wildest dreams because you're amazing. You deserve the very best things in life. And Venus in Virgo is saying, hey, wake up. You deserve the very, very best things in life. Stop accepting all this rubbish. And that's the one thing you can really rely on this week. So on Saturday, if you listen to your feelings, you will end up helping someone else in their life. It'll be transformative for them. It'll be transformative for you because you understand what you really want to do and how you can be selfish and help other people in the process. I'm being selfish because I love astrology and tarot and I love working with them. So I'm selfish because that's what I've decided to do. And with the astrology and tarot, I feel I can help other people get more clarity in their lives. So that's the way you would combine those two conflicting energies. And that's what this week and last week also there have been conflicts. And it's a complicated time of combining things so that you can continue to move forward and think of the conflicts not as stoppages but as fuel to get you moving. When you're conflicted, you take action to get rid of the conflict, right? So this is fuel to get you to your dreams and to get you to where you want to go. So don't feel like there's something wrong if you're conflicted. Think, oh good, I've got fuel in my tank, let's go. So Saturday is really nice to spend with other people, obviously, because your feelings are going to guide you in the sense of help, do this, and it'll really, like earlier in the week when you're cementing your relationships and your living situation, on Saturday, you're not just cementing a relationship, you're really transforming someone's life by being there. We never know what impact we have on other people. If you just in passing say, you're having dinner with someone, and in passing you say, I visited Sardinia 5 years ago and it was the best holiday of my life. And then you talk about many other things, you talk about art and you talk about the food and da-da-da. And then you never see that person again and you meet them 2 years later and you say, oh, nice to see you. And they say, because we had that dinner, I went to Sardinia on a holiday and I loved it as well. You never know what people are going to pick up from what you say. You're not a mind reader. But today, without being conscious of what you're saying and just going about your business as you usually would, you will have this transformative positive effect on your life and it'll come back to you as well. So make sure you're not a little hermit crab at the bottom of the sea on Saturday. Make sure you're out and about talking to people and just being. That's all you need to do. Just be yourself. Which is so lame when people say that. Just be yourself. Which me would you like? Like when people say, I don't like this side of you. I don't have sides, I'm not a box. It's from a film. Postcards from the Edge, Carrie Fisher. I don't like this side of you. It's a good comeback when someone says that to you if you're having... This is just a side note. This is an aside. If someone argues with you and says, I don't like seeing this side of you, then that's a good comeback. I'm not a box. I don't have sides. Sunday, the 29th of July, the moon moves into Pisces at 11:29 p.m. So at the very, very end of the day. So it's pretty much in Aquarius for the most of Sunday for most of us. The Pisces moon is much more creative, nurturing, self-sacrificing, spiritual, connected with its feelings. It's sextile, so it has a harmonious relationship with Uranus and Taurus, so energy, practical energy. And it's sextile Saturn in Capricorn. So your feelings and taking practical action are totally aligned. So it's water and earth day. Perfect balance. So Sunday is the best day of the week to love and dream and to spend time doing things with loved ones in a practical way. It's also another fabulous day that supports you in making your hopes and dreams, intangible and unmanifest, become a reality in the sense that you can touch them, feel them, they're here right now. So it's a time of movement, and it's a time of thinking about where do I want to go in my life. I am not accepting things that are below par. I'm going to make improvements, and I'm only going to make changes if they are improvements. And you'll feel energized to do that. And it's a beautiful week. It's empowering. You really get to see yourself, but you also get to move forward with your life and make a ton of progress. If your experience is very different, you don't feel you know what your life purpose is, you feel like you're at a crossroads, you don't know what direction you're supposed to go in, you don't know why you're even here on planet Earth. If you feel like the UFO dropped you off on the wrong planet, and what on earth am I doing here, which is how I felt for a long time, then a personal reading is really helpful. And in my personal readings, I use the astrology the way I just looked at it there. I also use tarot and I use numerology. I combine all three. To draw up your astrology chart, I need your place of birth, your date of birth, and your time of birth. If you don't have your time of birth, I can use sunrise, or I can rectify the chart. Chart rectification means that you give me a bit of info, and I can work out your time of birth based on that information. So if you're interested in that, get in touch with me via the email or the contact form on the website. So readings@gregoryscott.co.uk, or go to gregoryscott.com, click on contact, and you can type your message in there if you're interested in rectification. Once I have the chart drawn up, I can see it's a blueprint of you, your soul. I can see everything. I can see what your vocational aptitudes are, what your talents are when it comes to work, why you're in this lifetime, what you're trying to achieve. I can see what's destined for you in love and romance, relationship, finances, self-development, hopes coming true, moving, career, and also what's coming up over the next couple of months and years in those areas of your life. And I find it really useful in terms of getting clarity and putting a focus on something so that you can actually progress. So it's very much like this week. So if you're interested in a private reading with me, then please do get in touch via the website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. That really, really helps me. So please do hit that subscribe button. And I will speak to you next week for the weekly horoscope. Check out the video on the eclipse, which I'm going to make in a moment. And also on this channel, I have daily tarot readings. I have monthly predictions for each sign of the zodiac. So this forecast is for all signs, but I do have a prediction which says this is particularly for Virgo, for Scorpio, for Sagittarius in July. So that's out. Have a look at that if you're interested. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I'll speak to you soon.